Welcome to Two Guys, Two Questions, a chaotic, unscripted podcast.
Yeah, surprise questions with no prep.
I'm Ryan Keaton, a real estate guy who's happiest with an ocean view.
And I'm Jared Greer, a retro toy fanatic / loather who may or may not have a Batman cape within arm's reach right now.
You definitely do.
You don't know that.
From alligators to vibrators, superheroes to existential crisis, we cover it all.
Plus, every month we'll bring in a mystery guest and try to keep things extra unpredictable.
So if you like spontaneous conversations, French bulldogs stealing the show, and two guys who think they're funnier than they probably are, then you're in the right place.
Yep. Well, enough of this. Let's do this. Two Guys, Two Questions starts now. It's podcast day, and I always forget that. You know that. But also, Thursday, you'd think I'd remember, because it's also the day the guy mows my grass, and I have to put money out for him. And I always forget, and I stiff him about 8 weeks in a row. And then I have to catch up. I tried to prepay him for the whole year this year. And he said, nah, man, what if I die? Then you'd just be out that money. And I think that's the mark of an extremely good dude, really.
Right
really. My grass guy is top tier, dude.
Wow.
Top tier. Anyway, so he said, I'd rather just mow it for you all year, and then you pay me at the end of the year. You catch up and whatever. Okay, whatever. So he's prepared for the fact that I'm never going to pay him, or eventually I'll pay him.
Yeah.
He can go buy a new lawnmower. I guess if I owe him, he's never broke, kind of thing. But also, it's trash day, and I always forget to take my trash out, and I always get home, and when you pull in, all those things come back to me at once. Fuck, it's Thursday, it's trash day, I didn't put my trash out, I didn't pay the lawn guy. So, recurring theme, Jared is irresponsible. Anyway, what's up, Ryan?
Living the dream, man.
Yeah. I have been in Huntington most of the day. So, you've seen these peddlers malls, antique malls, whatever. So, when I got divorced 2 years ago, God, has it been 2 years already? Anyway, when I got divorced, we thought it would be a great idea for my ex-wife to have a peddler's mall booth, because she's really good at it. I mean, she has a good eye for cool stuff that people will buy. She's good at pricing and researching. And I thought it'd be a way for her to make extra money, and she agreed. And then I gave her a whole booth worth of shit out of the warehouse. I didn't give it to her. Hell, it was half hers. It's hers, whatever. So anyway, we set her up an antique mall booth, and she did really good for a long time, putting stuff in it. But eventually I don't know if she just lost interest in it or whatever. But I talked to her about it 3 months ago or so, and she said, most months I don't even sell enough to cover the rent, so it's really just costing me money. Anyway, so I went up there today and had to merchandise it and set it all up and deal with weird shit that I don't normally deal with, and set up an antique mall booth. But, it was something different. Had fun. Seemed like the thing to do at the time. And I got Jamie out from under a monthly rental, so it worked out.
So is this going to be like the pet store, to where this is going to be like a bad idea in about
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Couldn't just shut it down. You had to go, no, let me reset it back up.
Yeah.
Let me take responsibility for it.
Because, Kat and I were talking after we left there today, who can we get to go up there every week? Because for a peddler's mall or an antique mall booth to do well, it has to be fluffed once a week or so. It's got to be rearranged and dusted, and you got to really know what kind of inventory you have, and you got to put new shit in it all the time. So we were talking about which one of our employees we could task with visiting there every Friday and putting stupid shit in it. But it's a great outlet for things that don't belong in my stores. For those of you who haven't caught up, the last couple of weeks, we've been locking the dogs out of the room.
Yeah.
Because they've been problematic. But anyway, I think. So, which leads me to, wait a minute, this is not my question, but it's a question I thought of on the way here. Are your days structured as such that you know what time it is, or even what day of the week it is most days?
No.
Okay.
It is to some degree, because like with appointments, but I have calendar and I have alerts set up. So it is typically what I will do is I will look at my schedule, midnight, 1, basically right before I'm going to bed.
You know what tomorrow is.
I look and go, okay, I've got these 2 or 3 things tomorrow, and then, the rest of the day is kind of, I feel around that.
Okay. Because any given day for me, like I'm subject to be, just working along, doing whatever, and go, fuck, it's 11 o'clock at night. Or whatever. The one thing I'm going to credit you for more than anything in the world is this whole Thursday 6 o'clock thing, or whatever the fuck it is that we've been doing, has made me, I think it's making me a better person, Ryan. It's making me aware that shit, it's 6 o'clock. And then I can quit doing whatever the bullshit I'm doing, and most of the people around me can go home. Because most of my crew, even if they're salary or hourly, it doesn't matter. If we're doing shit, they'll hang out. They'll work.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think I fuck everybody's life up a lot. Because I just don't maintain I don't even know what time it is most of the time.
I think it's interesting that you say that too, because one of the things that I would do is pretty much schedule appointments at the whim, and then would go back and cancel things or rearrange things or something. And this I've played pretty religious to where I basically schedule around it. It's a standing appointment that I have. But I will do the same thing a lot of times to where
Do you find yourself doing listings in your underwear at 11 o'clock at night and shit like that? Or?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Doing pictures or getting everything ready, paperwork. Definitely paperwork is a lot at night. Okay. Now, one of the things I have tried, and I think I'm actually getting pretty good at it, and I would probably credit our conversations and just the way this has unfolded, is I am trying to shut that down.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time. I'll still text or something like that. But for the most part, I'm trying to quit 7-ish, 8-ish, which is still a lot more than most people are doing past that. But to where I basically will just not respond. Or I'll send a quick message and say, hey, yeah, I'll take care of this. I'll have this first thing to you in the morning. Yeah. Instead of doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock and stop watching a show or stop eating or whatever in the world I would do before. But
I hadn't been sleeping very well for, I don't know, the last week or two. I guess because of this whole estate sale thing or whatever. And yesterday we got that warehouse completely empty, and I'm done.
You've got everything moved to the new one?
Yep, everything is moved. The warehouse is still full of junk, but I hired a guy to clean it out. So I have faith that by September 1st, when I have to give it back to the landlord, it'll be empty, because I just said I don't want that stuff. So we got everything we wanted out. And I'm washing my hands of that address. But anyway, so last night I come home and I was like, you know what, I need some sleep. So 9 o'clock rolls around, I took 2 sleeping pills, and I sat here on the computer for about a half hour. And by 9:45, I don't remember shit from last night. Does not exist last night. And I woke up an hour fucking late today. I told everybody to meet me at 9. I woke up at 9:40. Shit. But it was like waking up from a coma. I was like, what year is this? Yeah. So I'm sure the dogs had parties and shit in here last night. I don't know, but it was I am well rested. I was gonna say
that's probably very much needed though.
Oh yeah.
With everything you've had going on.
We unloaded so yesterday I got the place empty, but I left one truck full of stuff. We unloaded it this morning, and I walked around and I told my warehouse manager, I said, luckily, we now have no time limit for organizing this, because it all just went in there however the fuck we could get it in there.
Oh, you didn't organize it?
No. We started out doing that.
Yeah.
But when it come down to we got to be out of there, these last few days, we have just unloaded so much stuff. And our dumbasses trapped the forklift way back in the back of the warehouse, and there's pallets all in front of it and shit. So we have to kind of start there like some little video game and try to move stuff from there.
Little Frogger.
Yeah, because you can't get the forklift out unless you just move a pallet that's touching it. So anyway, we're working towards that. It's but at this point, the rest of my year is pretty much no schedule. Let's see, it's September 1st, or like in a couple days. And so that means I have September, October, November, and December to just, get settled in, and we'll hopefully have good weather, and we'll get everything organized. So
it's got to be exciting because
yeah,
there was many weeks to where it didn't seem like there was a light at the end of the tunnel.
I kind of feel like the weight of the world's been lifted off. I mean, I'm saves me $6,000 a month in rent now being out of those two places. That's nothing to sneeze at, you know.
No, and it'll help refuel the coffers that you use to get the building.
Yeah, I turned $6,000 a month, or nearly $6,000 a month in rent into a $900 a month building payment. You can't even imagine how much that helps everything. Yeah, you know? That gives me like $5,000 more to spend on stupid shit a month. Speaking of, I almost bought a life-size Elvis today, and by almost, I mean they wouldn't fucking sell it to me.
Really?
The pawn shop down there, shout out to Tri-State Gun and Pawn or whatever, has a life-size Elvis sitting out front.
Well, do they deserve a shout-out since they wouldn't sell
No, they're bastards. Anyway, they have it sitting out front, and I'll give them this. It caught my attention because I did a U-turn on 23 and went back to buy it, and they said, oh, he's not for sale. He's just an advertising piece. But he is so cool. Now I got to find one.
Anyway. You got to find one. Where are you going to put it?
I don't know.
You figure that
I won't care once I get it.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be somebody else's problem.
It'll be riding around the back of my truck for 9 years. Yeah, somebody else can figure out.
So when you have that accident, they're like, well,
so shit. Really I guess this guy really liked Elvis. Yeah. I suppose. All right. Tell me something good.
Something good, man. I'll tell you what, one thing I do want to cover.
Okay.
Because I laughed about it on the way here. I laughed whenever I sent it because I knew what the result was going to be.
Oh, your text?
Did you read it all?
Oh,
the big long text that I sent you yesterday.
No. It stopped at, I've got an idea that you've been talked or that you've talked about a few times.
Yeah. No, there was a big, that's the first two sentences.
Oh, I just saw it in preview. That was all I saw.
But the very last...
I don't actually go in and open text. If it's longer than
the couple sentences.
Then the couple sentences it shows you, holy shit, this is a novel, Ryan. Like I was supposed to read this. I was
giving you what the idea was for the podcast. But the funny thing, if you read the very last line.
Okay, I'm just going to read it out loud. But anyway, you've mentioned it a couple times. I probably didn't even get to this point in the message of reading it. Okay, so fuck you. No, I literally...
And there was no...
In preview, it stopped right there.
Yeah.
And I thought that looked like a complete thought. And I thought, well, I'm going to hear what this is later.
But the last sentences. But you probably didn't even fucking read this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, I think. We'll have to do it in pieces, I think. But either that or we just get them all come over one night.
So what I was thinking, we could do Zoom.
Yeah.
For one, but yeah, because mine are going to be in, I got one in Lexington, one in Charlotte.
Really, I think all we need is Tristan and Jackson.
Just the youngest ones?
Yeah, just the youngest ones. The ones that were at home the longest and
they got to see they got us at peak financial for them too.
Yeah, right.
The other one's kind of
my oldest son feels ripped off.
I bet he does.
Jackson was never poor. He Yeah, Jaron remembers not having heat a few times. But anyway, yeah, I think I do believe that I think this is a good idea. We get our two youngest kids to come over here one night. Tristan's not pregnant anymore, so we'll just have a drink. We'll have them come over for drinks.
Yeah.
I think they're all of age. So yeah, close enough.
Yeah. You have a baby.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Actually, this will lead me into my question, maybe.
All right.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you a story on myself. Shortly after I got divorced, I was just in a very friendly way, quite honestly. Absolutely nothing came of it. But I was talking on Facebook. I never went on Facebook and said, hey, I'm divorced.
Yeah.
Never did that. I think that's dumb. I think it's nobody's fucking business. If you need to know, you'll know. You know. But I'm going to say 8 months after we were divorced, my ex-wife did go on Facebook and say, just so everybody knows, we're divorced. If you see me out with some other dude, you don't have to call.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. We're divorced.
Yeah.
And she said, same thing. If you see him out with another girl, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're divorced. And anyway, shortly after that, I got hit up by several of my ex-girlfriends that just said, hey, just checking in, whatever. But one of them in particular, she and I were talking, and she said, do you know that the last time we were together, I was still technically 17 years old. And this has been a long fucking time ago, by the way. Long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And I said, but you had 2 fucking kids, so did it matter? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure it does. By the way, for the record, I think I was 19, but I know.
Yeah,
yeah.
You weren't like 35.
This was a long. Yeah, I wasn't 35. But anyway, I don't think it counts once you have a kid.
Once you have a kid, I think you ought to be able to.
Yeah, you can probably.
I don't know what the law would say about that though, but I think in Kentucky, in the 16 or something with consent.
Well, I'm just going to tell you. This leads me into my question. And it's a 2-parter. I don't think we've ever discussed this on the podcast. If we have, just tell me to shut the fuck up and we'll move on to something else. But I can't remember from 1 month or 1 week to the next what we've talked about. What is your opinion on judging the past through today's lens? Like I'm saying, you judge things that we did 30 years ago based on societal norms of today.
Yep.
And I can make it very specific for you if you want, but I don't think I need to really.
No, because I think it's very relevant, especially now because of the cancel culture, right? They'll drag up something from somebody in 1993, and not to say that stuff isn't wrong, but I think maybe if somebody that's close to you is affected by it, maybe apologize, say, hey,
right,
I've learned, I've grown,
yeah,
but for the love of it, this is one of the things that I think is crazy, that if you take, for the most part, if a girl, and I've talked to my wife about this, I've talked about the kids about this, but if you decide for whatever reason you have some beef with somebody in junior high as a female, when you're 40, you still hate that little bitch for whatever reason. It sticks. It's like, I don't like that person. I would like to think we grow a little bit, we get a little more mature, but so I would hate with everything inside of me to be judged off of who I was whenever I was in 20s and doing some of the stuff that we did that wasn't that big a deal, but now somebody would get offended, get butthurt about it. So
what if you never had the opportunity to change and grow?
So, I mean, at what point does that stop, you think?
I don't know. I'm saying, okay, so let's say...
Some people don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm saying, so in the 50s, 60s, whatever. Anyway, let's hypothetically say, let's just fucking go out on a limb here and say our parents, or our parents' generation. So, growing up in Eastern Kentucky in the 50s and 60s, they were probably racist. Okay, if they got hit by a truck when they were 30, but never had time to progress their views or whatever, are they assholes?
I guess if you die an asshole,
if you die an asshole, are you still an asshole?
I guess, because
I mean that's what I'm saying.
Not
can you judge them?
Progress.
Can you judge them based on the normal that they grew up in?
I don't think that. I think people will.
Yeah, 100% they will.
But I don't think that. Now, if that's when they stopped and you're going back, in a time machine and you're looking at them in the 70s whenever they were 25 or whatever, and you're like, they're a dick. And then now you look they're not.
Yeah.
Then
what if they're still a dick?
Well, I would venture to say there's going to be people that says Ryan was a dick in the 90s and he's a dick now.
Yeah.
No, God, I think we have to give people grace and the ability. Now, if they're still doing the shit,
right,
that's a different story.
Different story.
But I think we all make bad decisions. We all have bad moments. There's probably times where we do things that's not really who we are. But if you took that one snapshot or video or moment in time, it would live forever. I think that's where we're very lucky that our college years, their stories, embellished, lied, leaving out conveniently what we don't want to have continue on.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story on myself at 21, and you decide if I can be judged on this. At 21 years old, I was about to get married, and we had a bachelor party planned. And for various reasons...
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up because it's been on my radar to bring back up because you had mentioned, don't forget, we need to have the wedding episode.
Oh, okay.
The non-wedding episode.
Yeah, the non-wedding episode. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I told this story recently in a green room at a convention, and number one, by the time I was done with this story, I had a crowd gathered around me. But number two, I got mixed results out of it. So it was like, it's a little fucked up. But anyway, I was about to get married. I would have been 21, I guess, in 1996. You know, the 90s were a fucked up time. You can watch, you can probably watch the Woodstock 99 thing and see, you know, what kind of life we were all living as college dudes in the 90s, you know, or as 20 something year old dudes in the 90s. But anyway, so I was about to get married, and through various things happened, but 3 days before the wedding, old girl calls it off, says she's not ready to get married, whatever. I was fucked up. I was devastated, you know.
Yeah,
it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me now because, whoo, boy, I've seen that girl lately.
Duck and weave.
In mugshots, yeah. I've seen her mugshots lately. Yeah. But, so, as one does at the time, the only thing that cheered me up is we still had my bachelor party.
Yeah.
So, we go out to a friend of mine's house in Allville, out in the country, kind of, and all of my high school dudes showed up, and, you know, we're sitting around shooting shit. There's a few girls here and there passing through, but it's mainly kind of dudes hanging out being dudes.
Yeah.
Drinking beer, shit like that. So anyway, one of my friends, let's call him Matt because that's his fucking name. Hope he hears this. Shows up with an old girl. And keep in mind, we're all 20, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody's of age. We're drinking legally.
Yeah.
But anyway, he shows up with this old girl. Nobody knows. It's like, Matt, where'd you find this girl? Well, she was at my stepdad's place and needed a ride to town. I told her I'd bring her to town, but she'd have to stop here first. So she agreed. Anyway, while she's there, enterprising young dudes, we offered this girl, like, I'm going to say collectively the $47 we could accumulate out of our pockets or whatever. Probably half a fifth of tequila and probably some of Ryan's mom's Vicodin or something out of the medicine cabinet.
Yeah. Not this Ryan, by the way.
No, not that Ryan. Other Ryan. Yep. To strip for us. And she did.
She did.
And there are pictures, lots of them. I always traveled with a camera, and my other buddy Ryan always traveled with a camera. So we took lots of pictures.
And I would not have liked you.
And there's lots of pictures of that.
I'm glad you, I don't know.
Pre-cell phone, they're printed pictures on actual paper. I wish I had it in my hand right now because I'd show you one. But anyway, this girl's wearing a cast because she'd broken her arm somehow. She's not the best looking girl in the world, but she gets naked for like $40 and some Vicodin and half a bottle of tequila. Now, in today's culture, that would probably be frowned upon, that we all offered her these things to get naked. But she did it of her own free fucking will.
She made the decision.
And she, you know, all that. But that's what happened, and we did it. And so I told that story, and then I found and showed the pictures in a green room with a bunch of people around. And like I said, I got a lot of mixed reaction over that, that you can't do that sort of thing. But it was the 90s, and we could, and we did.
I think the problem with this story is the fact that you're telling it in a green room with receipts.
Yeah.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, but the fact that you're like, hey, let's not let this die. I want this story to live on.
No. This only happened because, let's call him Matt, that was his fucking name, was there, and he said, you ever tell anybody about that time we did that?
Oh, so you ragged on.
Yeah. And I told it, and there we are. So here we are. So now the bigger part of this question about judging the past through today's lens is, Ryan Keaton, what the fuck did you do that judged through today's lens would not be cool, although it was perfectly fine at the time?
Yeah. Shit.
Tell a story on yourself, Ryan. Here, come on. You got to have something.
God, I mean,
Don't get yourself kicked off the realty board or anything.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there was, well, I'll tell you what, one of the things that it was absolutely amazingly fun, but no way in hell would we get away with it today. And that was,
I better know what you're going to say.
That was whenever we tore down Motel Hell.
Yeah.
You know, so for anybody not listening, basically
I still don't know anything wrong with that. I still don't know why we were in trouble for that.
Why we're not?
Why we were in trouble for that. Like, who gives a fuck?
I think I happened to live there at the time, and I believe we were a little loose with how definitive it was going to be and how quickly we had to be out. It wasn't. I don't believe that the owner was like, "Hey guys, why don't you all go ahead and destroy this?" So, to give everybody a little idea of what it basically was literally an old hotel, think 1940s, 50s kind of hotel that was kind of like in an L shape, but they'd split it up into 3 different apartments. And by the time that we got through with that party, you literally could walk through the entire thing on the inside from one end of the property till the other. Well, we were kicking. I mean, good Lord! I remember there was people jumped on the shoulders of people and they're kicking holes into the ceiling.
Yeah. So we were told that this place was we had to vacate the place at the end of the semester. If I'm right here, am I remembering this right?
Yeah.
At the end, I think it was the end of the semester. We had to vacate this place because they were going to tear it down and build a BP.
Put in gas station.
So as 19 and to 23-year-olds do, we assumed, well, fuck it, we'll just tear it down for you.
Yeah, I think that's the little bit of the rub.
Yeah.
Is we made that decision to we're going to go ahead and take this down. But I would tell a somewhat similar story to what you were saying, that in regards to we had a party at the same place. Mm-hmm. And it was a pretty long party, and it was probably about 4 or 5 in the morning. And there was I think there was like 6 or 7 of us that lived there. And then there was probably another 5 people. Mm-hmm. And 2 of the 5, so there was 2 or 3 out of the 12 or 13 that was there were girls. Suddenly the girls kind of initiate a game of truth or dare. And that quickly escalated into, it's just funny, which is what made me think about it, was that we decided, we had this girl that started talking about how she could clog. And we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And she's like, she kind of stood up, done a little clog real quick, and we're like, oh, wait a second, we'll take that one more notch. Yeah. Her dare was to basically strip off all of her clothes and basically clog, totally nude, to Cotton Eye Joe. Oh, God. And she did it. She didn't even get her $40. She was just like, well, that's what the game is, so we're going to do. And again, we were all of age.
Yeah.
All got to make a decision.
I watched a girl sit in the bathtub there and drink a whole bottle of Goldschlager. and then lean out of the bathtub and over into the toilet and puke it up.
Yeah.
And I don't think that girl left that bathtub on.
She just stayed right there.
Yeah, just stayed right there.
Yeah, now
trying to get the gold out of a bottle of Goldschlager.
Now, do you sometimes think back on things that you did and you're just mortified with yourself?
Yeah, a lot. But again, I try not to.
But I don't linger on it because I'm like,
I mean, definitely we did some cringy shit. Definitely.
But it was, like you said, somewhat of a little bit more of the norm. Doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I try to give you're just stupid. You're just stupid whenever you're in that 17 to 25-ish, kind of range. Because, I mean, hell, it doesn't your cortex, isn't it like 25? I mean, there's some age, like some mid-20s or whatever before you're like fully formed or something.
You and I have talked about this before, but at what age did you think you were an adult?
Yeah.
I was well into my 30s before I considered myself an adult. And I still have trouble squaring that sometimes. My buddy, when I was about 30, I was hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds one day just because long story, but my dad's girlfriend's son was much younger than me, and I was hanging out with him and some of his friends one day. And I was, at the time I was, no federal agents listening to this. At the time I was making a lot of homemade explosives, and we were out in the country fucking blowing shit up, shooting guns and shit. And I said, let me show y'all this shit that I made, and I blew a pumpkin up or some shit. I don't remember. But anyway, what the phrase was, this is pretty close to, or this is the same thing that, an old school M80s would be. And then I said, guys our age have never seen a real M80. And Brandon fucking laughed at me forever. He's like, guys our age, we're fucking 20. You're old as shit.
You're like 30.
Yeah, I was like 30 at the time. Maybe
6 or 7 years on him or something.
Yeah. But anyway, it kind of made me go, fuck, you're getting old. I guess maybe that's when you start to realize you've turned into an adult, when people start saying you're an old man.
Yeah. I think because I had kids a little bit earlier, I have always been called Papaw or considered older than.
I think you had a kid when I met you.
Yeah.
Or at least, I think maybe she was still pregnant when I met you, but you might. I can't remember.
Because you came 94. in 94.
Fall of 94,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you had either just had a baby or she was still pregnant. I can't remember. But, yeah, you were probably like my first peer that had a child.
Yeah.
And, man, talk about growing up quick. I'm sure that.
Well, it was. Probably should have grown up quicker.
Yeah, I feel that for sure, because I had, I had my oldest son was born when I was 21. And I guess if I dig deep, I was not a good parent to him for quite a while. It took me quite a while to wrap my head around that whole thing. And even later in his life, I think he and I have a good relationship now. And once I wrapped my head around it, I tried to make every decision I could with the information I had put in front of me, and tried to make the best decisions I could for his benefit. But I was a piece of shit till I was 30, probably.
Yeah.
Or pushing 30 anyway. It's a miracle any fucking kid gets raised.
I think that's for any generation, any parent, because there's so many ways to fuck up a kid, whether it be,
and there's no recipe book.
No, because even the ones that are supposedly doing it right and are all on top of everything, those kids a lot of times come out, don't know how to fucking tie their shoe.
Yeah.
Mom's done everything for them, or, I don't know what is a bigger disservice.
My youngest son owns a successful business and can't drive.
Yep.
I guess I failed. I don't know. My dad tells me I did. My dad is so pissed off that my son doesn't drive. It's all I hear about. If me and my dad talk every day now. For years we didn't have that kind of relationship, but he and I talk every day now. And if my son comes up, he gets mad at me because Jackson doesn't drive every fucking day.
So
don't understand why kids won't get their license.
So is that your fault? Is he putting that on you?
Yeah, it's sort of me and
why is he
his
not
mom.
just giving Jackson hell?
He does.
Okay,
he does. In a very not of this time kind of way. I'm going to tell this story. Fuck it. I don't care. Nobody listens to this shit anyway. So Dad calls me the other day. He said, how in the hell is Jackson ever supposed to get a titty in his hand if he ain't got a driver's license? I said, Dad, I don't think he's worried about that really. He said, what do you mean he's not worried?
He figured it out.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. I mean, God.
That's funny.
But that, from my dad's generation, you didn't have no wheels. You wasn't getting no girls. Yeah, and that's. You ever seen the movie Crossroads?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old man's in a nursing home. He wants to motorized wheelchairs. He says, "Man, they got no wheels. Ain't no man."
Yeah. I tell you, one of the things that has kind of, which goes right into this, but I think one of the things that I've been the most baffled about is, I guess apparently on these college campuses now, the way people are starting to meet each other is they have like a Snapchat or something like that'll show you who's on Snap that's around.
Yeah.
You,
It shows you
right?
where all your. If you're friends with somebody on Snapchat, not that I'm an avid Snapchat user,
Yeah.
but if you're friends with them, I think you can look at a map and see where your friends are located from where you are, or maybe it'll say your friend is nearby.
But it'll also it'll say, oh, there's other people on Snap. So in theory, if you're on Moorhead's campus, there may be 20, 30, 50 random women or men, depending on your preference, that are popping up on these things. Apparently, that's how people are starting to make their initial initial thing is they'll jump on there and say, ooh, I saw you at the social, the ice cream social, or I saw you going by Cartmel, and they'll hit you up on Snap, and that's how they're getting their introduction instead of fucking going to a party or some shit like we used to do. They are literally meeting these people and having a relationship or talking to them on a Snapchat before they ever get to the point of going and hanging out at their dorm or meeting them at a party or whatever.
Yeah. So I'll go out on a limb here and say that aside from you and a couple others that turned into like real lifelong friends, the fraternity thing was kind of a wash for me. But the thing that fraternities and sororities did very well when we were there was force you to meet other people.
Yep.
And force you to really form bonds with other people. I mean, my pledge class is tight as fuck. There was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
And I guess 4.5 if you count Tanya. I got you, T. But anyway, we were close as shit because you're put in the fraternity. When I was there, it was I don't know. I didn't think hazing was that bad at the time, but yeah, that's another one of those things.
Yeah.
Fuck, we were hazed, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, not physically. I don't think anybody ever hit me. No,
it wasn't like what you see on Animal House.
Yeah. I never got paddled.
But there were things that people would lose their mind about today. Like, one of the things that we had to do was during Hell Week, we had to carry a brick in our backpack. So you had basically this fucking brick that you're carrying to class and stuff. And to start with, which is, I guess they were able to do it up until the year that I did it, was that you had to wear that brick. You had to paint that brick purple. And then you had to wear it on a string around your neck like it was a necklace. Well, they shut that shit down, so they just moved it into the backpack whenever I was there. But I mean, all that stuff now, whenever I think back on it, that was the funnest time that I ever had in my entire life, was during that time frame of doing this silly shit that sometimes you hated it in the moment, sometimes you liked it, sometimes you just took and ran with it. But those are the best memories because you're usually... It wasn't like you were singled out individually and you had to do this certain thing. It was like, well,
me and my group of dudes are going to do this. Yeah, and it like I said, my pledge class was tight as fuck just because it made us that way. We had to do stupid shit together, and you make lifelong friends doing that. So that was the thing I did think fraternities and sororities probably both are really good at was. Teaching you to navigate college life and to make friends while you're there. Because you go there, you don't know fucking nobody. Or if you're lucky, you know the 3 guys you went to high school with that are there with you or whatever, and most of the time you didn't like them anyway.
And I think one of the other things that it did too was it was a very quick introduction to, oh shit, there's other people besides these white little people in a box in eastern Kentucky that talk this way. Yep. Because we had a guy from Greece, actually from Greece, that was in it. We had multiple people from California. So it was really cool to get all these different perspectives and different ways that people grew up and ways that they viewed the world. For your friend that you talk about, mentioned a couple different times, that's, the wokeness, you're getting to meet people with other perspectives.
Yeah, here's what's funny. In my pledge class, it was me, which dumb white kid from Eastern Kentucky, Jackson, dumb white kid from Eastern Kentucky, whose parents were both politically active in the Democratic Party, and 2 boys from California, and I'm the only liberal in the bunch today. Now... I guess. So I find that hilarious, but we still get along beautifully. So anyway, I digress, I guess. What the fuck's your question, Ryan? This is gonna be outside of this bit.
Yeah, it is going to be outside of this a little bit, so it's going to pivot things.
Switching gears.
We've talked a lot of past, and a lot of history, and this one has absolutely fucking nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
And it is left field, and it is just to see if I can make you laugh, and I want to see how creative you are.
All right. Oh, God. I'm not creative.
I know.
Haven't you learned this by now?
I know.
You always put me on the spot with some stupid-ass fucking shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, go.
I think that's what makes me and the listeners enjoy,
Okay.
is because you just stumble.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to stumble.
are you a wrestler? Do you watch wrestling?
I don't watch wrestling currently. I grew up on wrestling. I loved wrestling as a child.
That's what I thought.
I don't watch it currently.
But you've also had some at the cons and things of that nature. So my question is that they just called you up for WWE. What is going to be your
my gimmick?
What is going to be your name? What's your wrestling name, stage name?
Gosh, man, you always fucking do this shit. I thought you were going to ask me who my favorite wrestler was or some bullshit.
That's too easy.
I'm not a wrestler. I'm not. I'm more like a manager, I think. I might be a wrestling manager. Or a valet, I guess they
So
call
what kind
them
of, so if you're not going to be a wrestler, you're going to be a valet, so that's, what's going to be your persona?
Wrestling seems to be doing away, let's take this here. Wrestling seems to be doing away with most of the stereotypical shit. Used to be, if you watched wrestling, you probably got a pimp and a hooker and hell's fire. They had they had a white guy playing Akeem the African Dream for a while on WWF. So most of the stereotypical wrestling gimmicks are gone now. So in today's wrestling world, everybody just kind of, or I don't know about everybody, but most people just kind of stand on their own merits and they're either a heel or a babyface. I definitely want to be a heel.
Yeah, which is funny because my thinking as well was like, for me personally, the reason I'd like to be a heel is my entire life and existence is public facing.
Yeah.
And service.
Yeah.
So you're always kind of on your best foot with your clients and things of that nature. And for the most part, that's really who I am anyway. But which is why it would be even more fun.
Yeah, how fun would it be to go
creative heel
stand in the middle of the ring and say, fuck you, your baby's ugly.
I think that would be enjoyable.
Or whatever. It would be a lot of fun to get to go, I guess, release that part of you that...
We all got it.
That we all have. You've seen somebody with a baby and said, that's the ugliest fucking baby ever. But you never said it out loud.
No, it's things you say to your loved ones or, it's an intrusive thought that you somehow hammer back down in there and go, that doesn't need to escape.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I definitely would want to be a heel exactly for that reason. You want to be able to let that part of yourself out, even if it's in jest. Because I think if you can let it out in jest, you probably don't have to deal with it for real.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why rage rooms are a thing. They let you go break shit so you don't break shit in real life.
Go fuck up that computer.
Yeah, fuck that up. Fuck that copier. So you don't take a ball bat to the one in your own office. But I really don't know what my gimmick would be. Like I said, I think wrestlers are getting away from gimmicks as a whole anyway. But I would definitely want to be a heel.
What would be your theme song?
Ooh.
What's getting you pumped up to walk out?
Yeah. I have to think about that one for a minute. There's so many good ones. Gosh, damn.
So now, while you're thinking about that, are you going to have a big flamboyant outfit? Are you going?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big flashy. I mean, I don't know if I would rather go the Ric Flair route, where you have the elegant robe, and you just ooze pompousness, I guess. Yeah. Or if you go the Dusty Rhodes route, where you have a big flamboyant outfit, but it's cool, motherfucker. That kind of thing. I don't know which. I think Ric Flair had the best heel persona ever. Really, just in you didn't really ever put him in the box of a heel or a babyface. I guess you did, but he was he was a heel, but he said all the things that you wanted to say, you know?
Kind of like Stone Cold.
He was a little
more recent.
Right, yeah. Stone Cold was everybody's favorite asshole. Man, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the one guest that I would give anything to have at the show at my convention. We've made offers a couple of times. He's only done one or two. I don't think he really enjoys them. But man, if there is a guest that would break Lexington, Kentucky, I think it's Stone Cold.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, I've seen a few like either documentaries or different things to where they've talked to him.
Yeah.
He was playing him fucking self.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, he amplified it.
Yeah,
like you said,
he is
like,
his
I'm
gimmick.
Not truly that dick, that big a dick, but he kind of is.
I mean, I tell you, we were talking about Ric Flair. We had Ric Flair at the con a couple times. He lives his gimmick. He is his gimmick. That's who he is. He is better than you. You know.
Yeah.
And actually, not even that. You know, Ric Flair walked in the hotel in Lexington, and at the time, my wife Jamie was meeting every guest at the door of the hotel to introduce herself and say, you know, if you have any problems. Yep. And Rick says to her, Rick and his wife are there, and he says to her, so you and your husband run this show? And she said, yes. And he said, I hope you don't have anything to do because we're going to the bar. And he took my wife to the bar, him and his wife, and while they were in there, you know, fans come in. Rick bought everybody in the bar around. Once or twice, he got my wife so fucking drunk she couldn't stand up. She couldn't do her job the rest of the damn day. But, I mean, he was a great guest to have at the show, just as nice a guy as you could ever want. And, you know, he still says some things off the wall sometimes. Talk about not being judged by your past or whatever, man. Gosh, damn. I heard him say some shit, man. But it was just who he is. He didn't mean nothing by it. Yeah. Just, you know.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
You know. It's like, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, who wouldn't want that? I'm Ric Flair. You know, whatever. But yeah, I think that's probably who I want to be is the Ric Flair.
The Ric Flairish.
The Ric Flair. I don't know. As a child, I was a big Dusty Rhodes fan, or even as an adolescent. He's the one guest I wish I had at the con before he died. Him and Randy Savage both.
Now, do you know his son is actually...
Yeah, I've had Dustin a few
big
times.
Star.
Yeah. Well, he's got two sons, Dustin and Cody.
Cody's the one that is like
Cody's
the big star
like
now.
a big fucking deal now.
Yeah.
We've had Dustin at the show a couple times. He's a great dude. Everybody likes him. I don't know. I don't know that I see myself more as if I have to be a wrestler, I'm a Ric Flair type. If I'd probably want to be more of a manager and be my role model in life is my uncle Jimmy Cornette. Shout out to Jimmy, who has a much better podcast than we do. But I see myself more as a Jimmy Cornette manager type. I like to, I don't know. He was just everything you wanted in a TV personality. And I saw Jim one time this is the first year of my convention. He blew my mind because you don't understand how good some of these people are at their craft. Somebody was making a goofy little promo video for the show and goes to Jimmy's table and says, hey, Jimmy, we're going to make a promo video. You ready? And he says, turn the fucking camera on. Turn the camera on. Jimmy starts talking, doesn't stop talking for fucking 4 minutes straight or so, just spilling over why you got to come to Lexington Comic-Con, why you got to be there, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it was the best fucking promo I ever saw in my life, and he had 1 second to prepare for it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like, this man is a masterful speaker. And
what year is the con?
We're in 13 years or 14. I don't know. It started in 12. What year is this? 25. So I guess we're 13 years. Yeah. Yeah. I can do math.
You should pull up some of that old stuff for your 15 year and really like have somebody punch it all together for
somebody made me a really nice, well, not somebody, my fucking video. At this point we have a video team.
Yeah.
They put together a really nice 10-year deal for me and didn't tell me they were doing it. So that was, I don't know, it was something nice they did for me. I really liked it. But man, we've done some crazy shit there over the years. It let me live my wrestling childhood life. That's the one thing that con has done for me for sure. I consider Jimmy Cornette a friend. And I watched him on TV at 12, 13 years old. I watched Jimmy on TV. He was a manager. He talked relentlessly. In case you don't know, Jimmy was the wrestler that managed the Midnight Express and carried the tennis racket and beat the shit out of everybody with it. Anyway, I consider him a friend. I call him my Uncle Jimmy. I told him one time we were at dinner at fucking Johnny Carino's. Anyway, I told him, I said, 13-year-old me would kick myself in the dick if I told him this was ever going to happen. If I'd ever get to come eat fucking shitty Italian with you.
Yeah.
And he laughed. But, gosh, damn, I need to call him. I need to check in on that fucker.
Been a minute
Since I talked to him. But anyway, Jimmy.
Another good pro with this.
Sold me.
Remind you to call your heroes.
Yeah. Sold me a couple comic books. Didn't treat me real right on them. And, man, like I said, he's done me several solids in my life. So, in our 13-year relationship, Jimmy's done me several solids, and I'm proud to call him a friend. But anyway, I don't have a more direct answer to your question. I want to be a heel.
Well, what's the theme song?
Can you
at least come up with what's your walkout song?
It's probably DMX, really. I'm not even sure which DMX song right off. It's probably up in here. Yeah, probably. I don't know why.
DMX is hard, though.
Yeah.
Well, he's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he is.
Yeah, DMX is another person I wish I'd have had at the con. That motherfucker. We talked about it one year. We said, should we reach out to DMX? He'd be a great guest. And then he fucking died. He's one of the people that they've got a list in the office of people Jared's killed just by talking about them. Because it happens all the time. We talk about, we should book this, and sometimes we'll get all the way to contract. Fun fact: Alan Thicke. You know who Alan Thicke is?
Yep.
I think I have his last autograph he ever signed on a contract saying he would come to the con, because that same day he died on a hockey rink playing hockey, or something around a hockey rink. I don't know if he was playing or sitting. Anyway, had a heart attack. But killed Burt Reynolds, killed Alan Thicke, killed... there's a lengthy fucking list in our office of people that Jared has inadvertently killed just by talking about them and saying good things. Or wanting to do business with. I guess that's a word of warning. Don't do business with me because you'll die.
Shit.
Yep. Fuck. That's pretty strong right there. Anyway, that's all I got.
So we're going DMX, and you're going to be a heel.
Yep.
I like it.
That's it. All right, fucker. What else?
I think the only other thing to kind of circle back, which is funny because you went down this path.
Okay.
So to kind of circle back to what you were talking about earlier, getting back into the retro stuff, what is something that you've always remembered about me throughout the years that you haven't told me?
I don't know if I've ever told you this, and this is, I don't want to feed your ego here. I have thought about you for years as, you're just a hustler, dude. You just, you're relentless when you get put on something. And I've just always thought that, I don't know. I guess that's the immediate thought in my head is I remember way back when you were at Enterprise Rental or some shit. You were like, I needed to rent a van or some bullshit, and you were just out here hustling, trying to put deals together or whatever. And you've always been a masterful at putting deals together.
Which is funny because
that's what you do now. Yeah, I don't think about it that way, but that's all it is.
That's all it is.
You're putting a buyer and seller together.
Yeah.
And that, quite honestly, that's what I say about myself a lot.
I was going to say, because that, to me, I would think, shit, if I really wanted to learn how to make shit happen, you're always the person I've always looked to, because I'm like, and it's funny because there was, I guess there was a time, maybe a couple months ago or something, that I was thinking, and I was like, I always remembered you. Mm-hmm. Probably wasn't accurate, but I always remembered you as you were just fucking always jump into something new.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh, I got to do this, got to do that, And
entrepreneurial ADD.
But yet, and then I was thinking, fuck, he don't really stick to anything. But then I'm just like, it's
themed.
Had the con. You've got what the shit that you've been doing now. You've expanded and you've maybe added some other stuff to it. But I mean, this has been a long time career. It hasn't been like just like, ooh, we're gonna buy this building, sell it, and boom. No, because the toys have been around for, a decade plus, and the con is obviously the toy's been longer, because
Yeah.
if the con has been 12 years, 13 years, then the toy was, 2 to 5 years before that.
Yeah, this all started because Jackson and I were collecting, Jackson wanted Transformers, and when we went to yard sales, and he was into Transformers. Jamie went to a yard sale with him and bought a big box of what she thought were Transformers, and they turned out to be Power Rangers. So then he decided he liked Power Rangers, and he and I started buying Transformers and Power Rangers at yard sales and things like that. And that's kind of what really got us down the toy rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, but the con itself started just because I wanted to be a good dad.
Yeah,
I wanted to have I wanted to have a reptile show.
Or the reptile,
anyway, it's a long sordid story, but
yeah, because I remember we used to do the traveling reptile show.
yeah, that's themed though, because I don't know if you remember this. When we were in college, Tanya worked at the student newspaper.
Yeah, and you said you used to sell.
Yeah, we used to sell fucking iguanas in the newspaper. Fucking crazy. I can't believe I did that. I sold spiders and scorpions and shit out of my locker in high school.
But no, what made me think about that is that, Dixie and I were talking, and she was really good about reminding you to do things you should fucking do already. Yeah. And I had said something about I think it was either the podcast or something else, and she's like, well, have you told him? Yeah. I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, don't you think you should? Yeah. It was so simple and matter of fact, but I don't know if that is product of like the way we grew up, and it was like, our parents are even worse, right? Now, because she gets rattled by the lack of I love yous.
Yeah, you don't. Sometimes you don't say the good things. You say you only say. My dad says.
Well, don't even say the bad things. It's just like you just don't say. And then I will go back and say something, and she's like, it could be about my uncle or my brother, and she's like, "Did you tell them?"
Yeah.
No, they know. I'm like, how the fuck do you know they know? And I was talking about, just we've talked a lot about. I think even you and I have talked about just how much, whether anybody fucking ever listens or not, how much we're getting out of this podcast just because of what it's doing for our mental health and the
keeps me on schedule.
Yeah,
lets me know what day of the week it is.
At least one day I get you home at 6.
Something to shoot shit. Hey, do you remember
how much is that worth to you?
Do you remember
to be home at 6 one day a week?
1 day a week. Yeah, I'm gonna leave after this.
Yeah.
Do you remember one time I paid you to go the fuck away?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the way I'm saying it now. It's not the way I said it then. But so I asked you one time to put some deals together for me, and you put together so many deals I couldn't keep up.
Yeah, it was a computer shit.
Yeah. And I paid you a commission on a deal just to call the guy and tell him to go the fuck away.
Because I remember I'd sold.
I was like, I'll pay you, just get rid of him.
Make it stop.
Yeah, make it stop.
Yeah, I remember having to come there to try to help you put pallets together because we'd sold so many of those little computers.
Yeah.
I had forgot all about that. Yeah.
I drove by that warehouse the other day and went, fuck, I remember driving a forklift through the wall of that place. I wonder how it's still standing.
So I remember one time, hopefully there's no retro. This company's out of business now, but I had got a job. Ferris was like a manager at some trading company. I think it was a trading company or whatever it was. He got me a job as one of the salespeople. I go in and I'm there 2 days. And then I go in the third day, and he's like, I need you to come to my office. Closed door. What the fuck? This is my buddy. I've known this guy. Yeah. I mean, he's Jason is somebody I still talk to.
One of my top 10 people.
And he was like, I'm sorry, CompUSA.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember that place. They're out of business.
And he's like, I'm sorry, but I just got a phone call that they're shutting our store. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't help it, but I got you. No. So he went in, and there was like all these accounts, and he switched all the accounts to my name. That somebody was going to get that.
Somebody's going to get residual commission.
Get commission, so I got paid. So because I literally worked there 3 days, and then he was like, "They're giving everybody a severance." So you got and it was like 2 weeks or 30 days. It was nothing. Yeah. And then he said, but you're going to have a little something extra. So I got commission on a bunch of sales. And I think the timeline has went up on that. We've not said anything about that. But, he hired me for 3 days. And, I mean, he lost his job and everything, too. I mean, it was like all of us are just gone. Yeah. So, once again, I have now had multiple people in my past that have paid me to go away.
Yeah. Well, one of my biggest regrets, probably in 2000, probably in the year 2000. Ferris and I were still talking pretty regularly, whatever, now and then. Anyway, I called him one time, and he picked up the phone, and I said something off color. I don't even remember what the fuck it was, really. And he hung up on me.
Really?
And I thought, well, that's outside the norm. But so anyway, I thought, well, fuck, we probably just got disconnected or whatever. And I called him back immediately. And he picked up the phone and said, I don't remember what it was, something, I told you not to fucking call me anymore or some bullshit like that. And hung up again. And I didn't call that motherfucker back for about 10 years or more. And the next time I ran into him or saw him, it was just like nothing ever happened. So I never even brought it up. But
so you still have no idea?
I still never fucking asked him.
We got to get to the bottom of that shit.
I wonder if it was like for somebody else in the room's benefit or something.
It sounds like you got a hold of him maybe whenever he was in a meeting or in the wrong situation
something, and I
like
said
that.
Something bad.
This ain't my friend. Ain't my friend.
Right, yeah. But I was just like, well, fuck you. And it's like, I'll say this now. He'll never listen to it anyway. But you were here just now. I just checked my mail. I just got a postcard. Fuck, I wish I had carried it in here. I just got a postcard in the mail that a guy bought a stamp and put on that said, "You're a dick. Hey, Jared, you're a dick." And I was like, fuck. So I sent him a text and said, "I love you too." But but that's one of those things that you just don't know how to take. And I can wait 10 years to talk to you. I have seen the note.
There was no context.
Yeah. I can wait 10 years to talk to you. Can you wait 10 years to talk to me?
I can't wait to reach out to Jared and see if he even remembers that. Because I had Jared, or I'm not Jared, but Jason. He has been somebody.
I mean, I've talked to him a million times since then. I've just never brought it up.
He is somebody that I've also not had. We've always been in contact. Yeah. Sometimes you have bigger gaps or whatever, but we're always. And I mean,
and man, talk about somebody that made it in their field pretty.
And the dude's he's pretty lewd in it. So the fact that I think you had to catch him wrong.
He's man. We're going along here, but this is one of the highlights of my life. Fall of '94, Jason and I, he was my big brother when I was a pledge, and I thought it'd be cool. And me and him got in the car, and we drove to fucking Southern Florida and spent a week in Southern Florida
just because you could
at a baseball camp. My parents ran. We stayed in a fucking sweet ass hotel and went down there and just generally hit all the cool hot spots in Southern Florida and then drove back. But we drove my mom's shitty Oldsmobile down there. It was an old, probably an 84 fucking Olds Cutlass Supreme or some shit. And it was a nightmare thinking that car would ever make it down there and back. But anyway, that was just one of the highlight road trips of my life, so I'll never forget that.
That was, we were just down where we just went on vacation, went to Mexico City, which is very close to Panama City.
Yep.
We drove over there a couple different days to go dinner or whatever, and then as I'm there, it looks very different, but there was certain little things that I would see going, ooh, flashback to 1992.
Yeah.
And Dixie's really cool. She was like, all right, so what do you got stories on? I was like, I don't know. There's going to be some you don't probably want to hear. But no, she was all about it. But it was funny because bummer, though, one of the big ones, was it Spinnakers or something like that? I don't know if you
I never went to Panama City.
Oh, that was a great.
I was a Myrtle Beach kid.
Yeah, we did a spring break down there with Jackson. Yeah. You know, he was one of them, Jackson and Craig and, gosh, who else was?
Hey, I noticed Craig closed his place down here.
I saw that. I ain't no warning, man.
Fucking Craig.
He's somebody that he will ghost. But yeah, he'll pop up. You know, he's like,
He'll rebound. He'll whack-a-mole.
But yeah, I'm sure he's moved on to something else. That's somebody else that is always kind of just always
hustler, man.
Yep.
In the best way. Anyway, all right, I gotta go.
And just like that, another episode of Two Guys, Two Questions is in the books.
We laughed, we learned. Well, we mostly just laughed.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, congratulations. You now have random knowledge you never asked for.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Or don't, but just know if you don't, we're bringing back the squeaky toys.
Oh, it's coming back either way.
Until next time, same two guys, two questions, and absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Perfect.